So welcome everyone. My name is Attila Ambrus. I'm from Aero Electronics, working here for more than 5 years, responsible for some board solutions, also covering the EMEA 96 boards activities inside Aero. Today I will have a very short session, so I will be fast. I would like to hear your comments on how to improve the awareness of the 96 boards, what can be done better, and what are the main problems which actually blocks the 96 boards to have bigger awareness on the developer community. So let's see the 96 boards in numbers. If you check the 96boards.org, you can see that we have 18 boards from the consumer specific edition. We have 5 from the enterprise edition, 9 IoT boards, 3 SOM edition boards, and 22 mezzanine cards. If we add all these together, we will have around 60 boards. In comparison, on the project number of posted projects on the 96 boards, it's only 84. So if you calculate this, it's like 1.1, 1.2 projects per boards that was created for the 96 boards. So actually, this means to be a brainstorming session. So I'm really encouraging you to give your inputs. How can we be more visible for the developers, for the community? How can be more competitive against the alternative development kits like Raspberry Pi Arduino platforms or the dedicated SoC manufacturer development kits? So I really would like to hear your thoughts on what are the issues we have with the 96 boards community and what are the things that we should done to make it a better way. Actually, I'm listed, for example, some problems what I'm assuming we have. So the still low awareness in the development world. I'm organizing a lot of trainings based on 96 boards platforms what we created. Actually, I'm starting always with whoever heard about the 96 boards community, and the result is really low, like 1 in 20 people. Pricing comparing the competition like Raspberry Pi is can be one issue, and competing against SoC manufactured dev kits can be another issue, and lack of real 96 boards cross compatibility, because we have the standards, we have the specification that provides the compatibility on the hardware level. But actually, when you just want to plug and play any mezzanine into any baseboard, you will be facing so much trouble. So actually, I'm really interested in your thoughts, in your inputs, what can be done better. I think we can see the Slack chat, or you can post anywhere on the Zoom if it's possible. I don't know. So I'm checking the Slack chat. If you have any inputs, please feel free.
Also, if anyone wants to raise their hand, I can unmute them.
That would be the best.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm already in the participants list, so I can unmute myself. But I have a couple of comments on the issues, especially like being so close to the team. So I don't see the price factor going down unless someone takes a hit on the actual sales. So till stock vendors treat it treat the boards as a product, it's always going to be expensive. But once you treat it as an investment and actually take a price hit or like even a loss on sales of each board in order to gain more traction and more uh, more customers for your SOC itself. Till then, prices can't be lowered down. We saw this with the Chameleon 96 recently. It just went down in price by a lot. It was being sold for more than $100 and it went down to 30, and it sold within minutes because just it was cheap enough that people wanted to get their hands on. And like now, after that board has been released, so many years after that, people are actually working actively. Like I'm on one of the Telegram communities. On our Discord, on the ARM Dev Cave, or on the ARM Discord channel, and everywhere. Like I've been talking to people who are working on build root builds, working on getting up distros using the upstream Linux kernel working. But what happened again back in the day was that Chameleon 96, and I'm not just I'm talking about the Chameleon 96 as an example, and don't want to name shame anyone, but because that board just suddenly went down in price and we saw the immediate effects of that. So taking price as the factor, like vendors needs to understand that, um, that taking a loss is why you make dev boards, not to make profits. Same what happened with the Dragon board, um, 410C, like it was almost sold at a cost, from what I understand, at 75. And then the Ultra 96 again, like that FPGA is expensive, and $200 is a very, very, very low price for what that FPGA can do and what it's actually worth. So, um, yeah, that's sort of
So
my
Saj,
take.
you are seeing a big potential in investing in development kits
Yeah,
just to lower the price below the market price, and with this we can reach a wider audience with our boards. Yeah, that's a good point. uh, yeah, actually we are, at least Arrow, I can speak in the name of Arrow. We are trying to reach at many customers, many people with actually free on hand boards. So we are running multiple campaigns. We are giving away boards on events. So we usually cannot go lower on that. You need to understand that we cannot just give away boards without the project potential behind it. So any other points from anyone else? Don't be shy, we are certainly in the line, and we are really interested in anyone's opinion. So I don't see any inputs on the chat.
actually, I'm being pinged on Discord by David. He cannot unmute or join Slack. So, his question is, what about booting, and how would, like, would standardized booting help? And I guess what he's trying to say is like, um, up, like upstream kernel support and upstream bootloader support, so that you're not always tied down to vendor BSP. And the when sometimes like the drivers they provide are not what you really need. So again, I'm kind of going back to my GPU session that I just had. A lot of the times I've seen like vendor drivers being locked on to Weston or API, sorry, the Weston renderer, um, and that's all it can do. And other weird quirks like that, where you'd want some functionality with that's introduced in Linux kernel 5.8 or 7, but like the vendor BSP is locked down and not upstreamed, and you're getting like 3.12 or 4.2, stuff like that. So this and again, taking one of the examples of the boards we have, the Avenger 96, the SOM provider DH core invested and they actually sponsored upstreaming of this board, and it has great software support now. So I guess the question is that how like better upstreamed from the get-go will that help?
Yeah, that's gonna be a good point. Also, we are seeing that from our SOC partners, this is a demand more and more from their side as well. And actually, they are going that direction to have upstream and mainstream Linux support on their BSP. So what we can see that they really recognize that this is a must for their processor solutions and also for the dev kits. So actually, I think in the future it will be more like standardized, and this will be driven from the SoC side as well, not just from the 96 board partners.
Yeah, I think also we might want to start advertising that, actually using that, because like again for the Avenger 96 and a couple more boards that's been upstream, there's no actual distro that uses that upstream kernel. So maybe talking with guys at Fedora, or even having like a Yocto meta layer that uses the upstream kernel rather than the PSP one, makes life a bit more easier.
Yes, I agree. So we have a chat. Have you guys followed what Pinebook Pro, Pinephone are going or are doing? Sorry. It's a very active noisy community. 96 boards could do well in trying to convince and one of the OEMs to open up and order products. So actually, I'm not really aware of this Pinephone and Pinebook. I will check. There is a post from Daniel Thompson. How much of the 96 boards ecosystem is professional development being paid to make products? They will never contribute projects for the community. They are also happy to pay enough to allow the boards to be sold profitably. Yeah, so actually we are in partnership with a lot of companies, and there are different business model with them. Actually, we are trying to force them to create a profitable product, which then it's their initiative as well to drive it and support it well, to finally, or in the final, it will sell sell itself, and we don't need to really force it and to make a really big market around it to be sold. And this is the main target for us now. What about trainings around the boards? I don't know. No one reached this point. If we can build up some general 96 boards trainings or webinars, which actually the people can go through, have a certificate at the end or something. What do you think, Saj?
Oh, I was reading another comment. Someone posted it on my older Slack chat for
I'm
my
sorry.
session, which is actually for you. So they're posting in your Slack now. Can you repeat your question?
Yes, so actually I was thinking about organizing some standard 96 boards webinars or seminars around the 96 boards ecosystem. like multi-week webinars where the people at the end will get a certificate or something that they can use? Do you think that it would open up a huge channel for the audience?
Yeah, I think so, but like we really need to invite more sock retailers and board like board builders, makers. Um, so people you've already worked with, people and people that already have 96 boards products that we feel might not reach our expectations in terms of compliance and all of that stuff. So like a few webinars to just go through what the actual compliance means and that and then a few more about upstreaming and stuff like that that should do some good, maybe educate people a bit more to rethink the ways they've been operating, because like it's a known fact, like providing a BSP within a virtual machine image, uh, that's not uncommon. Like that's a very common practice in the embedded space, as bad as it may seem, but people do it. So I guess there's a fair bit of education that's required um, to get people to understand what's actually required to sell SoCs and sell dev boards.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, actually, it would be great to give the people the basic knowledge, so using that they could really boom the project sites of the 96 board, because I believe that the 84 projects which already exist on the site is a really low number in comparison of the number of boards that was released in the last couple of years. Checking again the chat.
there's one on Slack as well.
For 96 board, I've always wondered why there is not more of an emphasis put on the boards being open source hardware, schematic and layout CAD files published as open source. This helped grow the BeagleBone community, and I think it is a way different from the Raspberry Pi, where there is no interest in open source hardware documentation. Isn't it the best interest of the Silicon vendors and Linaro members for 96 boards to go with reference designs for the SoCs? So it's actually a good point. For some of the boards, I can speak in the name of Arrow Electronics. We have the design files and everything, but actually it's so complex. So I believe it's not easy to use it for your own product, to customize your own product. Also, we are working with some and board manufacturers who of course don't want to give out the work they put into designing these boards and SOMs. So in that case, of course, they want to sell their products as well. So it's not possible to make it open source. So this is the two options. But I believe that as the SoCs and the DRAM routes and everything is getting more and more complex, the customers are not really can make benefit from having the design files of such a board. This is my feeling, and I believe the software support is really getting a bigger and bigger help for those customers who want to actually work with these new processors.
And yeah, just to like add to that, um, as per our compliance, we do require all of the uh, board manufacturers to provide schematics, and we try to enforce that as much as possible. So schematics and yeah, layout CAD in terms of if you just want to like make cases and stuff, that's usually generic between a lot of the boards. Sometimes the stock placement is a bit different depending on if it's on the top or the bottom side of the board. But like we do have a fair amount of boards that provide both CAD layouts and schematics.
Yeah, that's true. And also, usually when the customer is coming to Aero Electronics and want to actually do something similar to what he has in his hand, a 96 board, we are really happy to support it on any level, from schematics to designing and whatever, mainly on the BOM level. So it's not a hidden stuff, but actually we don't really want to have the customers go directly. Our business model is like a selling component, so that's why we want to keep the customers what we reach out with the 96 boards. So any last comments, because we have 3 minutes left? So a couple of things coming in chat. I'm not sure I can answer or reach each of them. So we are still discussing the layout and schematic and PCB CAD files on the chat. So there are some people who are agreeing to source it out, and some people are not agreeing to share it with customers because they are understanding what is the business model. I think we will continue on the Slack channel. I would like to thank you, all of them who participated and give the inputs, especially for Sahaj. So thank you very much for Linaro Connect to have the possibility to be here and getting the input from the community. And have a nice day to everyone.